in Affinity Publisher, you can wrap all kinds of things. You can wrap text with text and text and text and text all the way through. And you can see the design. And also what you can do, you can apply effects and much, much more. So I'm just going to get rid of all that and show you how to do this. So I'm just going to put it all the way back to a start point and just go to frame text and just add some there. And then you've got that frame text there. Set it to maybe 5 point. You can vary the size, of course. Now, of course, I could type something very quickly and I could edit it and play around. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go for a quick and easy text and insert filler text. So you've got that filler text there. And I can resize that. But what you can also do is you can add another frame text layer. Obviously, you've got over here, it's a layer. You can't see layers. Go to View and Studio and Layers. What you can then do is just click over there again with frame and just add some more. And I'm just going to quickly go, maybe change the font. Don't have to have the same font. And just go down. I've got quite a few fonts here. So, just try some of these ones. And then go to Text, Insert Filler Text. And you can see again, you've got some text there. But of course, it's not wrapping at the moment. It's just on top. And of course, it's an interesting visual effect. But what you can do, you can go up here. Just there and click there. And you can set a text wrap. And I'm going to go with tight. And as soon as you do that, see what happens? It shifts everything. Got that little gap, obviously, around it, but everything is moving. If I move that around, see that moves. So you can do that. And of course, what you can also do, you can resize it. And you can rotate it. So you can just rotate that text. Resize that again. And you can see as you do that, you can also make it thin. Just resize it. And then hold down the Alt or Option key and duplicate that. And you can repeat that over and over again. But what you can make obviously a very complex design. So I'm just going to quickly rotate this. And you can see every time, even the text you've got that you've just created, everything that's below it will be wrapped. So you can see things. Now it does, I've noticed it gets a bit sluggish at times. Don't know why, but it's a lot of processing, I guess, a lot of working out all the things. And obviously the text, the more text you got on it, the more it's going to be slower. However, what you can do, you can also, of course, change the font. And maybe there's a load more fonts here. Maybe go for source sans. Just going to go for one. And I can resize that. And again, you can see as you do that, it changes. And then I can move that up there. And maybe again, you can go and change the size. Don't have to keep the same size. And you can hold down the Alt or Option key again, duplicate that, rotate that. Oh, it's a bit speeded up now. It's weird sometimes. I've just noticed occasionally you get a slight sort of slowness suddenly kicks in, and then suddenly it works itself out. And you can see you can just quickly do that and build up whole heaps of complex text wraps. And you can see them all over here. If you decide to, you can select one of the other ones as well. Go click on the frame text and work with that. Or you can remove them, of course. You can always delete them if you don't want a layer. Now, I'm just going to work with the top one. It's just easy, obviously, to work. But you can work with any of the other layers that are still there. They're all just standard layers that you can manipulate. And, oh, there it is. I was going to say, where is that layer? You can move that around. Now, I'm just going to put it there because what I want to do now is I can also add other effects to it. So, layer menu. And, of course, I could change font. But I can go to layer effects. And maybe go for bevel and emboss, maybe gradient overlay, so you can see, you can get a nice gradient effect there. And of course you can vary the gradient as well. Change the opacity and change the blending modes, so you can see all kinds of different, I'm going to get rid of that bevel and emboss there. You can also apply a blur, so get out in blur. You can see you can blur it like that. And again, you can still active, still available to be modified, so you can decide, go for that one instead. Resize it. And again, all that will still be wrapping around that layer. Now also what you can do, you can apply effects. So I'm just going to select a different one now. I'm going to select that one just behind. You can see that design there. And I can rotate, continue to still work with that. And you can see that will change, but it doesn't change the one above it. obviously as soon as you move towards the one that you've got above, it will keep wrapping around that. That's all that matters, the one at the top. Anything below is affected. So all those other ones keep changing and moving. What you can also do, you can go to the Affinity over there and Photo Persona. So Photo Persona, and I'm just going to set that one with that one. And as soon as you've done that, now it'll be a pixel at this point. So as soon as you start working with this, it's going to be pixels. Now, to be honest, I don't know, and I'm just assuming, and maybe this is that if you haven't got Affinity Photo, maybe you don't have the other persona. I really don't know. So my apologies if you have not got the Affinity thing. These personas, maybe, I don't know, because I've got all the 3 applications. That I'm not certain about. Oh, so I get in the way. Now, what you can do, you can of course apply brush strokes, you can do other things, you can apply other designs to it, but you can also go to filters and then maybe go to distort, or maybe blur as well, or that one, or maybe go, I'm just using distort. There's the distort. And I'm going to go with similarity. I always like similarity. Always seems to work better. Add some various pins, and then you can distort your text. And again, this is pixel. No longer can you can't edit, you can't change the font. You're not going to be able to change it. So you decided this is the font I'm going to be using, this is the font. And you can see now at this point, you notice that none of the text is wrapping. It doesn't do it as you do this effect. It'd be nice if it did, but it doesn't. So click apply. And then once you've done that, you can see then it does wrap around all the text. And even that wraps around with this layer that's above. Also, what you can do, of course, you can also go up to filters, and I'm just going to show this one, distort and equations. And this is quite good because what you can do, you can enter equation here. You can go 3 times x or 4 times y. You don't have to equal. So you can make it very small up in there. And that's that distorted text. Also, you've got extend mode. So you can actually do wrap, and then you can see the wrap there, or mirror. You can see it applied all the way across that. And of course, you can vary this equation. Don't have to go with 3. You could use 2.5 or 2 or something like that. And also lots of millions of other equations. I've actually got lots of videos on Affinity Photo about how to use the equations. So it's really worth checking out if you want to create some really weird and wonderful text layouts using this approach. Click apply. And again, what you can see is all of those are shifted and you've got the text wrapped around all of that. So you can create some truly weird and wonderful designs. You can see, probably best to see it actually in the navigator. You can see it even nicer there. And of course, you can do this to all of the layers. Now, of course, once you're finished, go to Publisher Persona. So come out of it. So you're now back in Publisher. Of course, it's a pixel layer. You can see pixel layer there. And you've still got this design here. So I'll just go to that one. You can move that around and you can see that will move. Now, weirdly, it actually seems, and is that it actually doesn't distort the other layer. So once you've gone into pixel mode, it seems that pixel mode dominates. So you can see it sort of wrapping around that, even the layer above is affected by it. But you can create all kinds of really weird and wonderful designs using this approach. And of course, you can continue. You can always, of course, just go to that pixel one and you can drag it. So you can drag it above. Now, because what you can then do, of course, and maybe you can actually resize it like that. And then you can hold down the Alt or Option key. And you can see, you can distort all those and resize it again. Rotate. Of course, at some point, you'll end up with no text on the screen because you've got so many of these pixel layers. But you can see you can create some very abstract layouts. Of course, maybe this is not probably going to be ideal for sort of most magazines. But if you want to sort of create some very unusual, unique text layouts, this is a great way of creating some very unusual text layouts in Affinity Publisher. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Always adding new tutorials. Obviously, please subscribe to the Graphics channel. Tutorials for Publisher, also obviously Designer as well as Photo. Also Photoshop, Illustrator, Critter, Rebel, and many others. Also, please add some comments, always appreciated. Is there something you didn't understand? Maybe I went too fast. Or like I say, maybe suddenly you find that you can't access that persona that you think, oh, you know, it'd been written. I don't know. I must admit that's one thing that when you've got an application without checking, I don't know if it's there or not. So my apologies if you can't do this effect here. Hopefully the personas are there. Also, anything else that you would like me to explore in this sort of area? Perfectly happy to do a tutorial about that as well. A dislike or like, always appreciated. Thank you much.